Hello everyone, my name is David, and it comes to a moment now in my life now that I have to say goodbye to a special someone. Actually not someone, something. My car! This magnificent piece of crap right now. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's been one hell of a history with me and my car. It's actually my first brand new car that I got when I was probably like about 21, 22. It's an '05 Chevy Cavalier. It's a base coupe model. It's got, let's see right now, quick specs, just 2.2 Ecotec engine in it. It was the first time it was introduced with the engine on the Cavaliers before they discontinued the Cavalier and went with and put the same engine on the Cobalts. It's manual transmission. It's seen a lot. Definitely for sure, it looked nicer than what it is now. We'll go around here. As you can see, it's been through whole bunch of mess. Where do I even begin? I guess as you can tell already, the hood is just, the paint peeled off a way long time ago. Yeah, I didn't really take care of it, but at the same time too, I've done so many repairs on this car that it's just too numerous to even mention. So at a certain point, I just decided to run it down as much as I can. For the most part, the engine, I'll give Chevy this, the engine is absolutely great. I never had one issue with the engine at all. And also the AC. The AC is fantastic. I never had an issue with that as well. There may be, I had to put on Freon a couple times here and there, but for the most part, everything works just fine. Yeah, first things first, as you can see, the hood is, paint has been worn the fuck out. The bumper as well. This guy, yeah, that's it holds on barely. As you can see, there are these brackets over here that's holding on to the bumper itself, and every so often after a certain amount of time the brackets will bend, and next thing you know the the bumper sags a little and gives my headlights some black eyes, which is pretty funny. So sometimes what I do is just unscrew it, bend it back, and then screw it back in, and oh, it's good. That's pretty much it right there. The windshield wipers, man, I think I replaced the windshield wipers at least once, and yeah. Oh, if you notice, yeah, it's not supposed to do that at all. It's supposed to do this. What happened was that just recently, in the past year, the spring that holds the tension on this portion of the wall of the arm decided just to pop out, and next thing you know, one day it was rainy, and put on the windshield wipers, and here's sucks. I tried to put it back in there myself, but those damn springs are pretty tough. I gotta admit. So yeah, this is a replacement window, windshield glass. The original one started to crack. A small little dirt from a dump truck on US 75 in Dallas, Texas, decided to crack one part of the windshield, and eventually over time that crack started to get longer and longer and longer before it got me uncomfortable, so got to replace with this cheap windshield over here. So far it's been working just fine, but it's kind of weird whenever you look at the windshield driving. It has this kind of like warble look to it. It's as if it's messing with your eyes. It's pretty retarded. Yeah. Hubcaps original. So I gotta mention, when it comes to unfortunate accidents that happens that happens with me in this car, it's through some random occurrences. Here in Dallas, Texas, or in DFW in general, you get to deal with a lot of interesting people on the road, or dumbasses, I like to say. And one of these situations happened. Let's go around actually this way. If you notice, there's this bump dent over here, and there's a huge one across the door and on the back over here, just behind the front door, or the rear of the door. What happened was I was visiting a friend for a barbecue. Finally was heading back home and minding my own business. I was in the right hand of the road going north, I believe US 75, and I was taking an exit, and I was right when I was about to take an exit, I get hit by another car, and I spun the f*** out and went off the road and stopped. Fortunately, no other cars collided other than me and that person. So, you know, pretty crazy moment. So I finally got out of the car and was trying to look for the gentleman or woman that hit me, and I saw them like in a distance, like maybe 50 yards away. Just stopped right in the middle of the exit and just slowly just walked away, or slowly just drove away. And I'm like, what? Seriously? So I just got back in my car and tried to haul ass and try to find him, because it's bullshit. Fortunately, I couldn't find the person, and it's hard, you know, being in the car as it is and only having liabilities insurance. I just decided not to even report it and just went on with my life. Yeah, it's been a great car as far as engine wise is concerned and AC wise, but as far as clutch is concerned, sucks. I went through probably 3 or 4 clutch kits because the hydraulic clutch, I don't know if it's just a known issue with the Cavaliers, but it just started to bleed out fluids on the slave cylinder, I believe, and next thing you know, I had to replace the entire clutch system. And that is a pretty penny. I was lucky enough that in the first 2 times that I got replaced, the warranty covered it, but the last time it was stupid expensive. It cost me on the cheap side $800 to replace the whole clutch kit and everything. And the reason it cost so much is because it had to do with the slave cylinder. The slave cylinder is located right under, or just right on top of the transmission. So in order for them to actually replace a slave cylinder, they had to take off the entire transmission to get to it, and then finally replace it and put the transmission back, and bam! $800 for the whole thing. Pretty ridiculous. But, I mean, I'd rather, you know, at that time, it was better to do that than spend X amount of dollars each month for the next X amount of years for a new car. That's just my opinion. Let's take a look inside. Ooh. Alright, so we're inside the car, and as you can see, it's fairly quiet. Not too bad. Fortunately, not too many things broke in the inside as far as, well, no, I shouldn't say that. I lied. Fortunately, the lights still work. Turn signal works just fine, except for a few things. Adding the stereo was a bitch. I had to take off an enormous amount of screws just to take this whole dashboard out to just get the stereo inside of this car. It's retarded. List that's wrong with the car right now from the inside. Well, yeah, horn doesn't work. Also, yeah, that's kind of loose. I remember the adjuster doesn't even work at all. At all. You can't even tilt it. You can't do anything with it. Something happened. I remember a little piece just fell out of it from the steering column, and well, I kind of locked it back into place that I could drive. It could do that, but I mean, that's pretty bad. Yeah, not fun at all. Fortunately, the turn signals work just fine, so that's a good thing. But one thing that's super annoying is, and some people will find this really crazy, but it's a common issue with a lot of GM products out there, is the cluster itself. It's a pretty common occurrence that a lot of GM cars and trucks, the gauges on the cluster itself just don't work anymore. So they kind of like not even go zero out, but they go in weird, twitchy, weird way, or it just goes below zero. So right now, you can look over here. Everything's down, close down to the middle. So if I turn on the car right now, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's turn on the car and see what happens. Nothing. No RPMs, maybe a little, but that's about it. Can't tell how much fuel there is in the car, or even tell the temperature on the car at all. Yeah, that's not good. So, but to avoid doing any inspections in Texas, I decided to keep the car with an Oklahoma license, and it's under another family member's name on this car. So technically they own it, but it's my car. But because of that, I don't have to worry about doing any type of inspections in the state of Texas, which is a nice little crack in the system. Yeah, so you're probably wondering how I can tell if I run out of gas or getting close to it. So I averaged out the gas. Let's say I could put 13 or 12 gallons of gas entirely. So probably like about around 290 miles, 312, that's when I know I need to really change out the fuel or add more fuel into it. Fortunately, there is one good thing about the cluster, is that there is a low gauge, or gauge is low, something like that, indicator that comes on. And I figured out that after a certain amount of miles, the car will finally die because it needs gas. So I think I averaged out almost kind of like 19 to 24 miles before I need to refuel. So I've been gauging that. As far as the miles per gallon, or the speed that I go on the road, that's since this is a manual, all I have to do is basically just go along with how the road is. I don't like the speed or anything like that, so in a weird way, this is kind of like a blessing in disguise, because I don't have to worry about looking at the speedometer at all. So I tend to go slower than I need to, which is fine by me. It may be annoying to other people driving around, but it keeps me safe. And I can concentrate on the road, put my eyes on it, and not be too distracted by knowing what the speed limit is on my dashboard. Not saying everyone should do that. Don't do that. Concentrate as much as you can and just go on with it. But yeah, that's always I've been driving like this for the past two and a half years, almost 3 years actually. Yeah, I got the. And I'm going to open this door real quick because I'm going to show you the wear and tear this car has gone through. The dashboard has done some cracks back over here. Let's see, over here. One thing's for sure, the car's seat, especially this side, it's been worn so much. There's hardly any padding down over here on the lower lumbar support. If you feel this over here, you can feel the metal sticking right through, and that just kills for the tailbone after X amount of miles on the road. So what I got was basically, instead of replacing the entire seat, I decided to go ahead and just get this little cheap, $15 little seat pad for my car, so that I have some kind of lower lumbar support. And yeah, temporary solution, but I'm not going to keep this car anymore, so I don't have to worry about replacing the entire seat at all. Let's see here. It's just a mess back over here. Don't mind the mess or whatever. That's some of my workout stuff, belts and whatnot. Let's see here. Yeah, that's basically it. The only major upgrades I did to this car was basically put in a stereo system and speakers in it. That's all I really needed. I don't ask much. I try to do regular maintenance on the oil as much as I can, and it works out just fine. So yeah, Tyler, why don't you come back over here and I'll show you like the extent of damage of this and the story why this occurred the way it is. Yeah, so the major, besides the outside, one of the major things that got damaged is the poor seat. I mean, look at it. It's torn the hell out of whatever, but it's done some wear. It's definitely got some wear in them. And the reason this occurred is because there's so many instances of me just going in and out of the car. So the first thing I hit whenever I get inside the car is either my butt or my side of my body. But yeah, I mean, 13 years of almost 13 years of abuse has taken a toll on it. But that's not from my own body. It also occurs when I put equipment inside a car. So yeah, that's pretty crazy by itself. Let's open up the trunk. So yeah, in the trunk, nothing really special. It's dirty as hell, but it was a lot cleaner than it was yesterday. Just abuse. Keep some essentials in here, just like steering fluid. The typical stuff to charge your battery or start your battery, and some coolant. Gotta have it. This, well, I don't know where this comes from. Oh well. At least the seat can still be adjusted. Unfortunately, the other seat cannot at all. So even if you try to adjust it, it just slides in back and forth. So unfortunately, anyone who's back over here, hopefully they're not 6 foot tall, because they would be really, really cramped and uncomfortable. So any person taller than 5'9" just needs to sit in the back over here on the driver's side, because the passenger side seat is not adjusted at all. Let's take a look at the engine real quick. Yep. I think for a lot of cars out here, it's pretty typical looking if you don't wash it every so often. Like I said earlier, the Ecotec engine has been a very solid piece of engine. I just wish everything else was a little more reliable, especially with the clutch system and whatnot. But it's been real solid. As you can see over here, here's the bars over here that for the hood, it keeps on bending down. You see this one's it's more bent than the other one. So every now and then I just have to unbend it or bend it back and apply the bumper back into the thing. Originally there was supposed to be like a foam bumper over here in the front, but I lost that during from one of my first accidents with this car, and so I never just gotten the chance to replace it or anything like that. This is the line that goes to my windshield wiper. Well, unfortunately that got cut, And what's really weird is that I don't know how it happened exactly, but I went to go get my car serviced. When I got my car back, you know, I was basically 20 miles out then, or you know, a few days later, but the location was X amount of miles away. I couldn't put water on the windshield, and I looked inside here. It's like the freaking thing got cut. So never tried to go back over there. It's kind of hard to prove something like that, I guess. Sure, but yeah. Anytime I need to clean the windshields, I have to go to a gas station and just start wiping away manually. So that's the story of that. So yeah, that's basically it about my car. My first brand new car that I've had for almost 13 years, and now I'm retiring it. I'm taking it back home to my family and try to sell it or donate it or whatever. If you have any ideas of what I should do with this car, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And yeah, it's been a good guy. Pretty happy that it lasted this long. I was happy I didn't have to put a car payment into it for the past 6 years, 6 to 7 years. So I'm happy for that, at least. And yeah, thank you guys for looking at this video. Share, comment below if you have any stories about your first brand new car, of the problems, the awesome parts about it, and how you loved it, how you hate it, and how much effort do you put into it to keep it maintained. Thanks a lot.